So obviously this weekend was a bit of a disaster, so took the top end of the redrocket off yesterday and found a lot of melting on the piston. There was a hole all the way through it, and there's a load of metal in the bottom end of the crankcase and everything. So I've ordered a new rod, so I'm going to need to rebuild the crank. I've ordered a new piston. I'm going to need to get the cylinder rebored because it's got a steel liner in it, and I've ordered all new bearings, so new mains, new seals, new gearbox bearings and full new gasket set. So I'm going to set to this morning and get the engine dismantled. So one of the first jobs, I'm going to drain all the oil out, and then I'm going to take the stator and the flywheel off, and I'm going to take the clutch off and the gear selector and everything like that, and then I should be able to split the crankcase. And then once I've split the crankcase, then I can wait for the new bearings to turn up, which should be tomorrow, and then get cracking with getting the thing rebuilt, and then hopefully by this weekend it should all be done, and then give the bike a bit more of a test next week before racing at Farleigh next weekend. In the process of taking this apart, and I've come to the clutch, and there's a locking washer on the back of the nut that holds the clutch in, and anyway, when I touched it, the nut moves, the washer moves and everything, so this clutch basket would have been moving. In fact, I can feel it moving myself. So that wouldn't have done any good. So that's the good thing about doing engine rebuilds, is you do find things that were wrong anyway, and obviously you can put them right as you go along. Go then, so it's the crankcase split, so you can see the complete inside of the engine here. Obviously the crank, the piston, that's the crankcase there, where the fuel and oil mixture goes into before it's transferred up to the top and it's combusted. And then this is the gearbox side, so it's obviously separate from the and the crankcase. And so now what I'm going to do, there's a small spring-loaded selector on the other side, which I couldn't get out. It seems to be bolted in. So I'm going to take the gearbox out from this side, but I've got to try and maneuver that spring out of the way. So I'm going to cable tie all of this together, so it all stays together, and then I'm going to flip the engine up onto its side, and I'm going to move that selector out of the way, and then I'm going to try and wriggle the gearbox out. It may be something that I need another pair of hands for, but that's where we're at. And then once I've done that, then I can replace this gasket here, obviously replace all the bearings. I've got to cut the crank apart because I've got a new rod kit for it, because the big end bearing has got movement in it, and there's a lot of play in the rod. So yeah, still quite a lot to do, and I haven't had my cylinder bored yet. I took it down to the boring place today to have them bore it out, but they were shut, so I'm going to take it first thing in the morning.